According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, it's a matter of when, not if, Jalen Hurts is going to get paid. That's what we're getting into on today's show. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. Now, a lot to unpack on the Hurts front, considering that he's one of the leaders in the NFL MVP race. But first, I have a challenge for the Fly Eagles Fly family. Want to get to 33,000 subscribers by game day against Jacksonville on Sunday, and we'll be doing another watch party for it. 215 left to get to that milestone. So if you want Eagles videos every single day, just show us some love and hit that red subscribe button. What you can expect from us: free daily Eagles coverage. All of it coming to you on the news, rumors, and analysis front. When breaking news goes down, we have you covered faster than anybody else. We also pride ourselves in interactive and informative content and trying to get to that number. So if you want to stay in the know with all things birds, go Birds, and hit that red subscribe button right now. So Jalen Hurts, let's take a look at this conversation of whether or not he's going to get paid, how much he might get paid from the macro and micro standpoint. So right now, Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, the best bargain deal in the NFL with how well he's played throughout the first three games to lift the Eagles to that 3-0 start. Two teams left who are undefeated. It's Philadelphia and it's the Miami Dolphins. And that base salary right now is around $1 million. And next year, it's about that same figure on that base number. And going into the final year of his rookie contract next year, the Eagles as a business always like to get ahead of these contracts, and that's why sooner rather than later, financially and fiscally, it would be wise for the Eagles to pay him. And Jeff McLane, the best Eagles reporter out there from the Philadelphia Inquirer, did say in an article that the Eagles are putting together some plans to pay Jalen Hurts. The question now becomes, when will he get paid and how much will he get paid as the salary cap continues to rise, as these television deals continue to make the NFL so lucrative, and as these quarterback contracts continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And keep in mind what I just told you. Quarterback contracts are going to continue to get more pricey. So at the initial starting point of that potential Jalen Hurts contract extension, the numbers could look absolutely stupid, but down the road, it could end up being a pretty good bargain play. And Hurts has put himself in a position, to get paid because of the growth that we've seen over the last 3 years. If you look at these specific numbers, completion percentage, yards per game, passer rating, and the increase in those numbers that we've seen from 2020 to 2021 and so far in 2022, he really has been on that Josh Allen type of trajectory. He comes into the league, second-round pick out of Oklahoma, where he had a really good ending to his career with Lincoln Riley, and before that with Nick Saban. He only completed as a rookie 52% of his passes. Now keep in mind, a lot of those were because the offensive line was porous and they came on a lot of throwaways. Yards per game, less than 230. His passer rating just north of 77. Last year, we saw him take a jump in the completion percent category by about 10 percentage points, which is obviously pretty solid, but at that point, still below league average at 61.3. Yards per game went down, but that's because Philadelphia really started to put more of a focus and emphasis on running the football, because that's how the roster was built at the time. Passer rating also went up 10 percentage points once again. But then you take a look at the growth from last year to this year. The completion percentage up to 67%, among some of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Yards per game, astoundingly, up nearly 100 yards from last year to this year. I understand it's a small sample size. And then passer rating, really notable there, 106.5. Now, I do want to touch on a couple of things that Jeff McLane had to say throughout the show, and I hope you don't go anywhere, because all of this I think is fascinating stuff, and this is why you subscribe to the channel. So McLane said this: late Sunday night, a text message came through from an NFL source on another NFL team that the Eagles play this season. The question: how much does Jalen Hurts get paid after the season? When you're wrapped up in the sometimes insular world of covering a beat, you can lose sight of how the rest of the NFL may view the team that you cover. I hadn't thought really much about a possible Hurts contract extension, because literally just over 2 weeks ago, there was still a legitimate question as to whether he would even be back next season. Hurts showed obvious improvement during training camp and one brief glimpse in the preseason, but no one would know, including the Eagles, how much he had advanced until a live setting. And throughout the first 3 live settings against the Lions, in which he picked up 10 first downs with his arm and his legs, and then in week 2 against the Vikings, he thrashed them for more than 300 yards of passing. And then last week against the Washington Commanders, arguably the best passing game of his career, where he really looked elite in the pocket when Washington forced the Eagles to throw, and he said, you know what, no worries, I'm going to slice your ass up. He was able to do that as well. Now, we're only getting started on the show. In a few moments, I'm going to tell you how you can get a free Eagles jersey. First, though, I want to hear from you right now in the comment section, because I really do value your responses here. Would you give Jalen Hurts a big contract extension, like making him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL? Because that's probably what the going rate is going to be. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Hurts' rankings among all quarterbacks this year. This is why he's in that MVP conversation. Second in passing yards. Remember when people were saying that this guy couldn't thrive and flourish as a passer? He's proved that wrong so far. Yards per attempt, he's first at 9.5, really pushing the ball downfield. That deep ball accuracy has always been underrated in my opinion. Completion percentage, he's top 10 at 67.4 and is the highest graded passer in the NFL up to this point. How about where Pro Football Focus has him among all quarterbacks throwing the football? Highest graded QBs from PFF. Lamar Jackson is number 1. He's an MVP candidate for sure. Jalen Hurts at number 2. Surprisingly, Jacoby Brissett coming in at number 3. Tua Tagovailoa of the other only undefeated team in the NFL checking in at number 4. And then Josh Allen, who just has stupendous ability, at number 5. Our chat stats segment for today. In Jalen Hurts' first 22 career starts, he has 3 games with at least 330 passing yards and no picks. No quarterback in NFL history has had more such games in his first 22 starts. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Jeff Garcia, Wade Wilson only had 3. Only Donovan McNabb has more in Eagles history with 11. And another talking point here about Hurts potentially getting the bag is what Shane Steichen had to say about him on Tuesday, that he really never leaves the facility. That report from McLane over the weekend about when he was going back and forth with Carson Wentz, first guy in, last one to leave, Marty Mornhinweg being that coaching sidekick to really take him under his wing, his leadership qualities, the way that he carries himself, the gusto, the swagger, the confidence that we see in some of these post-game meetings that he has with everybody in the locker room and the speeches that he gives. The locker room is rallying around Jalen Hurts like very few other quarterbacks in the NFL. Sometimes it's a business approach. Here at Chat Sports, it's not like everybody always likes each other all the time, right? The same can be said in an NFL locker room. On the field, you're going to rally for one another, hopefully, but off the field, you don't always hang out, right? And that's really just the deal. Now, myself and producer Trace, it's the Trace and Chase show. We're homies until the grave. But that can't be said for all coworkers out there, and the same can be said in NFL locker rooms. More from Jeff McLane. Through just 3 games, the answer is clear here. Hurts has taken a significant leap in a second full season as the starter, and in all probability will be part of the Eagles' long-term plans this offseason. That's how fast it can happen in the NFL. He may not be able to maintain his current play over the entire season. It's likely that Hurts will have setbacks, but the Eagles will have many more reasons for investing in the 24-year-old than they would in looking elsewhere for an answer, even if their 2023 first-round draft picks, crazy by the way, allow them to move up for a quarterback. Even before the season, Hurts checked off a number of the intangible boxes that team decision-makers look for in the position. So if he continues to take these strides as a passer, he's already got the backings from his teammates in the locker room. He has really all the necessary traits of a guy who you actually want to pay, mortgage your future in, and take a financial risk. Carson Wentz didn't make good on those cultural type of promises inside the locker room. Jalen Hurts, check every single box. And it's really hard to deny any of that because Hurts, with his field play, with his vision, with his accuracy, with how he's grown as a passer, the weapon that he is running the football. It's hard to deny anything that McLane said, and it's hard to deny this guy making an argument to be a top 10 highest paid quarterback in the NFL because right now he is earning himself the bag. Speaking of that, another question for the homies. Want to hear from you down below. You look at average annual value. Patrick Mahomes is making, like, at points during his contract, $50 million per year. How much would you pay Hurts? per year. Put your general manager hat on, be Howie Roseman. Let me know right now in the comment section. Now, Jalen Hurts is atop the NFL in MVP odds. If you want to make a bet on that, make sure you sign up with our sportsbook partner, BetUS, chatsports.com/EaglesBet. Promo code Eagles125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You put in $100, you get an additional free $125 back. And if you want to lay down some bread on Jalen Hurts to win MVP, he continues to climb up and up on this list. Josh Allen still leading the charge at plus 375 with Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Who thought that we would be having a conversation with Hurts and Mahomes in an MVP race at both plus 600 odds? So you put down $1. If Hurts were to win, for instance, you get $6 back. Now, if you want a free Eagles jersey, we got you hooked up. Here's how you do it. Follow all these steps here to my right. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet. Promo code Eagles125. Sign up, deposit $100 or more. You get an additional $125 back. So that's $225 to game with. You make your first bet. Then you email us, jersey@chatsports.com, letting us know that you followed all those steps. Screenshot that if you need to. But all you got to do, follow those steps. We'll send you a free Eagles jersey with some of the current players on this roster. Another big reason why Jalen Hurts could get paid. He's done what he's needed to do to make strides in the most important categories, and that comes down to his growth as a passer. I've seen mechanical improvements from Jalen Hurts. The accuracy has obviously been better because he's top 10 in the league in completion percentage. He's been throwing with anticipation. I love the bravery to throw the ball deep on some of those 50-50 shots because you can either get a PI call or guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are really good at bringing down those jump balls. He throws well on the run. He runs in general. The deep ball accuracy continues to be some of the best in the NFL. Has that knack for picking up big plays with his legs when he needs to. He's cool, calm, and collected when the pressure hits. He faced adversity early in this game against Washington. He was all good. 24-point explosion in that second quarter, and then he has those leadership qualities. And the poise and clutch gene have also started to grow. I thought right before the half against Minnesota, him driving the team down just to get 3 points on the board was exceptional. And then the drive before halftime at recess against Washington, the big play to Devontae Smith, and then time runs out. He wanted to run that play right before the expiration hit. That's what Nick Sirianni said, and he threw that perfect ball into the end zone to Devontae Smith where he climbed the ladder and came down with it. The poise there and the clutch gene and him just having a good feel for the game. We weren't seeing these types of things the last couple of years. More from McLane. And this is where it starts to get into the nitty-gritty with probably the best reporter who has the best Eagles sources out there in McLane. Owner Jeffrey Lurie and general manager Howie Roseman very much attuned to quarterback play. And while Nick Sirianni is bogged down in the daily operations of coaching, they are certainly starting to formulate a plan, giving Hurts an extension early. The Eagles have long benefited in getting out front of these contracts. Had there been mistakes, all they have to do was look across the field at Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz to be reminded that they haven't always been right, but their track record has produced more wins than losses. And that's part of the genius of Howie Roseman. How we do that? He really does get ahead of some of these deals to get ahead of market value. That's what really smart businesses do. As for the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, Hurts might try to put himself somewhere in this realm. Deshaun Watson, biggest contract ever, $230 million in guaranteed money. Well ahead of Russell Wilson at 165, Kyler Murray at 160, Aaron Rodgers at 150, and Josh Allen at 150. And Jalen Hurts, I don't think that he's going to keep this pace up the entire season because he's having a record-setting, record-breaking campaign, and that would just be ridiculous to envision that over a 17-game season. But if he continues to play close to this or close to this level, he's going to put himself in this type of conversation to make something in the neighborhood of what these guys are getting paid. And we're not even talking about Patrick Mahomes being on this list as well. Something to, of course, think about as Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman start to get those, checkbooks out to write that big check to Jalen Hurts. Last one before we hop on out of here. Appreciate all of your feedback. Appreciate all of your comments and all of your just support of the show because, man, Philadelphia Eagles now doing it like no other, where we really do value everything that you bring to the table as well. If you've been impressed with Jalen Hurts, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you made it this far, type real one, and don't forget to subscribe.